Hello. Artificial intelligence is transforming the way that organizations make decisions, manage people, and even exercise leadership. Some experts suggest that one day AI could even replace human leaders. Today, Martine and I want to reflect on this challenge and ask, how can leadership remain human in the age of algorithms? And how can the Franciscan tradition help us rediscover the person at the center? So AI is increasingly being used to manage data, anticipate trends, and even make strategic decisions. How is this reshaping leadership today?
AI offers great potential. Faster analysis, database decisions, automation of repetitive tasks. Leaders can now focus on strategic thinking, creativity, and relationship building. However, leadership is shifting from intuition and human judgment toward data-driven decision-making, which risks sidelining the personal dimension of leadership. The challenge, then, is to integrate AI without losing the human face of authority. Decision-making must remain rooted in ethical discernment, not just efficiency. I think this is a big point about that.
Your writings often claim to focus on intrinsic motivation, getting at what's inside people and what their own desires are. How does AI risk undermining this intrinsic motivation of human beings?
Well, when algorithms define objectives and measure performance, people may feel like tools of a system, not protagonists. Excessive monitoring erodes trust, creativity, and autonomy. It replaces internal motivation with external control, and that's a problem. This leads to a mechanistic leadership style, efficient but dehumanizing. Without personal recognition, employees lose emotional connection with the company and with their work's deeper meaning, and that will be dangerous also for the company.
How can we humanize AI, make it put at the service of humanity in organizations?
Well, when implemented thoughtfully, AI can free leaders from repetitive tasks and allow them to focus on the human dimension, mentoring, listening, fostering well-being, just to quote some of them. It can support participative leadership, decentralize decisions, and encourage collaboration. The key, I think, is to let AI serve the person, not replace the person. The person should be always at the center.
So how can leaders confront directly the notion of AI and the risks it poses? How can they address the risks that AI poses to making management decisions?
I will enumerate some points. The first is algorithm bias. When training data reflects social inequalities, AI can reproduce discrimination. The case maybe you know is that of Amazon's 2018 hiring case that was discriminative. The second aspect is lack of transparency. Many AI systems act as black boxes. Nobody knows how they are working, hiding their logic from users and even from leaders. The danger of irresponsibility is another aspect. If machines decide who is accountable for mistakes, are you going to blame or a machine? Pope Francis calls for algorithms, algorithms guided by ethics, transparency, and human oversight. I think this ethical aspect, are fundamental.
But really, you're arguing for an active ethical role in deciding how to use AI rather than just the convenience or abdication from this.
Mm-hmm.
So How can the Franciscan tradition provide humanizing leadership in AI in this era?
Well, Francis of Assisi reminds us that the spirit, not the technology, must guide our actions. Franciscan leadership is fraternal and relational. This aspect, the relational aspect, is important. It builds trust, inclusion, and shared responsibility. It values listening, empathy, and service, attitudes that algorithm cannot replicate. In a world fascinated by data, the Franciscan approach reclaims the primacy of relationships and compassion. That cannot be done by a computer. It invites leaders to lead with humility, recognizing technology as a tool, not as a master. We cannot adapt ourselves to the computers. We have to be in control.
Mm-hmm. So we are in this era of synodality in the church. Pope Francis would often connect synodality by explaining it means listening. It means shared discernment, walking together. What role could synodality play in addressing the problems and the peril of artificial intelligence?
Yes, synodal leadership listens before deciding. It values participation over control. AI can gather data, but only persons can discern meaning. Synodal discernment ensures that leadership remains a dialogue between reason and conscience, between efficiency and ethics. A Franciscan synodal model of leadership is not anti-technology. The church likes technology. It's technology at the service of communion, not the other way around. We to be serving technology.
What practical advice would you give to leaders who want to use AI and to integrate it in an ethical way into their organization and their leadership?
The first one is to keep the person at the center. All in Catholic social thought is about this. Use data to serve dignity, not profit alone. Second, cultivate transparency and accountability. Third, listen to diverse voices. Include ethicists, theologians, and employees in decision-making. Diversity. Third, or another aspect, promote intrinsic motivations. Give meaning, not just metrics. Another aspect, lead with humility and prudence. Virtues essential in the Franciscan and Catholic tradition.
This all sounds quite synodal to me.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, the question is not whether machines can lead, but whether we can recover and retain and remain truly human as we use them.
Exactly. Technology should expand our capacity to love, serve, and build community. If AI helps us care better for one another, then it becomes a path towards the kingdom. A tool, not of domination, but of fraternity. And that's the scope of everything the church says and everything we are doing here. Thank you.
Thank you.